I think it's fair to say Ping have been smashing the hollow-bodied market for quite some time now, introducing the brand new Ping i530 irons for 2024. These, for the right golfer, could be the perfect golf club. Forgiving, long, beautiful, everything that... I'm not going to say it. Forgiving, long and beautiful, everything you want from a modern day iron. So we're going to test them today. I've tested them inside already for numbers. They're hot. These things are, as the young ones say, lit. Is that what you say? Anyway, right, 150 out. We're going to start with the 8 iron. And if you come in and look at this top line, this looks really good. It actually looks a little bit, I don't know, the blade length's nice and long, but then the top line isn't too thick. And I feel like everything there is designed to help you, which it's obviously going to be. Ping know what they're doing here. This isn't their first iteration of 500 series irons, especially with this hollow body design. So we'll talk technology a little bit later on when we talk numbers. But first things first, how do they feel? Because I think you look at the TaylorMade P770s, P790s, the Cobra Forge Tech, they all perform incredibly well, but they feel stellar, they feel fantastic. So these have to do that for me now. They have to have that forged element in them, but they also have to help with feel and sound. So this is a blade length I could game. It's on the borderline of being too long, but that actually felt quite good, you know. We're bang on 150 yards out. This is quite a difficult flag to attack. And the first port of call for me here is that turf interaction. That's perfect turf interaction for me. And sometimes with golf clubs like this that are a little bit more tech savvy, a little bit bigger, a little bit more cumbersome on the eye, you could say you don't get that. But you do here. Also looking at them, the grooves look a lot smaller. So when we talk tech, we'll go into that, but a lot more grooves, a lot smaller, so potentially help with just keeping those spin rates nice and manageable, because often when you do have a club like this that's designed to go a very long way, spin rates do drop a little bit, so we'll discuss that in the studio. How close can we get? That bottom edge looks gorgeous as well. White bottom groove, but a rounded bottom edge. Oh, that felt so good. The better you strike them, the better they feel. That felt delightful. Can we replay that sound back? Oh, like a little clip. Again, we've got the turf interaction that we want there, looking down at the ball. And look at that bottom line, Bobby, you know, with like the rounded leading edge there. I think that looks absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't look anything like the 510 of old, and I think that's a good thing, because out with the old and in with the new, and these potentially are what's going to be new in your bag and lots of other golfers' bags around the world. But there's always a but. They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. They're honestly identical. If they're not within like a little blanket of each other, I'll be amazed. And that's the one thing I do hope for these irons. It's the one thing I really want with these irons. I want forgiveness, but also consistency. Let's go up there and see where they are. Let's work our way through this bag, because we've got quite a few irons to go at. And also, would you like to see me play golf with these clubs and see what we can score? Because not only have we tested these today, today's like the forgiving day, Bobby, isn't it? We've got loads of other clubs in here for you to have a look at, guys, so hit that subscribe button. We've got QI irons, we've got G730 irons, everything your heart could desire in 2024. And so for me, when it comes to Ping irons, I've always known Ping as making the best forgiving irons. I've known it since I was a junior. I've never owned a set of Ping irons, and I don't know why. I'm a huge fan of soft irons. I always have been ever since I was a kid playing golf, and that forged element. These i530s do feature a forged face, a forged element to help them feel a little bit softer. And I must admit, I've done the numbers already for these clubs, and they felt, the first ones I hit, I didn't quite strike that well. And I thought, oh, these, again, Ping have done it, that they don't quite feel as good as a TaylorMade or a Titleist, or I dare say a Mizuno. That's a big marketing term though, isn't it? But then you get out here on the turf and you compress them in, and you actually hit some good shots, and you're like, you know what? I probably could game these. I probably should game something like this if I wanted to play at my optimum level. I can see a couple of balls on the green there, and I can see that I'm actually flag high with pretty much all of them. And I must admit, looking at the stopping power for these 8 irons, even though they are hollow bodied, they are strong lofted, I'm taking that all day from 150 yards in the middle of the fairway to an uphill green. Have you got a tee, Bobby? So in this set, we have a pitching wedge right through to 4 iron to test. And I always like testing pitching wedges around the greens here to see just how versatile they are, but also how good they feel and sound, because See how that sounds a little bit different from each place you strike it on the face. Now, that for me shows that yes, you can get a nice buttery soft feel with these, but also you can get something that feels a little bit more industrial, a little bit harder. It's probably the wrong term, but I think you might know what I mean by that. And how consistent can I be around the greens with this pitching wedge? Because so many golfers would rely on this pitching wedge for shots like this, and I recommend that you would do. But if it comes off too hot or fiery or inconsistent, then it would be a bit of a problem. So ideally here, we're going to land this just before this upslope. It's going to break left to right, so we're picking the shot nicely. And then, that came out so hot, by the way. It's going to come back down. It's not going to come back down. But that's the first one where it might take a bit of getting used to, actually, because that, for the swing length I gave that, it came out really fiery. That was better. That was a lot better. And I think with any new clubs that you are testing, you do have to have a little bit of a grace period, come out and practice with them, God forbid, get used to how far they go. But I can't believe how short I've got to swing this to get that ball to come out like it is doing and releasing nicely to that flag. So certainly something to think about. If you like using wedges around the greens, would you just maybe go for a glide wedge in a 46 degree or something like that? But 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and for the first shot, I feel like I just got caught out a little bit by how fiery and how hot it came off, which you're always going to get with a hollow bodied iron from around the greens. So when it comes to these irons, which irons would you have in the bag and how far up would you go? Because a 6 iron may well be the longest iron a lot of people would game in this I530 range. We're going to test it out here now and see really how many times we can hit the green. I think I'm biting off a little bit too much here. We're 170 yards out into the wind and it's quite damp, so we're not going to get any run whatsoever. But God loves a tryer, Bobby, don't they? So this actually looks really good. Let's have a look at this down here, because that for me looks really, really nice as a blade length. As a blade length, as a top line, as pretty much everything you would want. I like that as an iron. I think it looks like a nice nod to the Blueprint irons, Blueprint S, Blueprint Ts, but obviously a lot more forgiving, obviously a lot more tech going on there. So, a nice big draw into this flag. I've left that out to the right. I've left that out to the right. It's not the best strike, and I think it's short as well. We're going to have to keep this ball flight down just a touch if we want to get on this green. Again, similar. Very consistent though, very, very consistent indeed. And with the last one, let's see if we can get this moving to the right. Oh, there we go. There we go. And I quite like, you know, it's not wanting to turn over on me. That one's up there on the green. That was probably the best shot of the 3 by far, but I like it's not trying to dip over. It's not trying to turn over too much. Yes, there is offset on these clubs. Yes, they are hollow bodied. Yes, they are forgiving. There's almost a little bit of romance to them as well, where you can still play old fashioned golf that's not big, high turny bombs. Let's test a 4 iron and let's get inside and see just how these golf clubs perform for numbers. Okay guys, numbers for the Ping I530 irons. Now, as I've already said outside, these things look spectacular and they look even better than my voice sounds today, so I apologise for that. But let's talk numbers for these clubs, because the hollow-bodied Ping iron is something that, let's be fair, I think has been a little bit underwhelming over the last few years, so hopefully these can be a little bit better. Okay, pitching wedge. Straight away, it feels and sounds a little bit firm, but then distance-wise, that is absolutely perfect. Little 132 carry, spinning at 7,000, which I'm really, really happy with for a club of this power, we could say. And you can see just how easy it is to launch those clubs up into orbit. 135 carry that time, spinning at 6.6, so very, very consistent. Certainly not the softest club you're ever going to test in 2024. 140 carry, but spinning at 7,000, so plenty of positives to take there with the pitching wedge. Moving up into the 8 iron with these Ping I530 irons, you can see I also have the brand new G730 irons, and these actually look, well, absolutely massive compared to the i530 counterparts. So I'm going to test these as well today, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see those numbers. I would hope here for around a 150 to 155 carry and still get a spin of around 7-ish, probably. A little bit less, maybe, a little bit less, right. Right, that felt very good. I didn't anticipate that to feel as good as it did. Lovely big high fade. That's gone miles. That's a 166 carry, still spinning at 6,600, but that for me is a 7-iron distance with the first shot with this 8-iron. It actually felt really good. Didn't anticipate it to feel that good. It looks good at the ball. And that again felt nice. Wasn't as good a strike. This might be down a little bit, but it's still a 160 carry with a little bit of a duffy one and still spinning just over 6,000. So 6,000 is low for an iron like this, but you kind of know what you're getting into when you are going into the realms of i500, i530, this kind of club. It looks totally different down at the ball to the i500s or i510s. But feel-wise, that's really put me at ease, you could say. 169 carry with an 8-iron. I can't wait to hit these other ones. Let's go into the 6. I think these start to look better the further down the set you actually get. So really, 160. So this should be about a 180 to 185. Offset starting to rear its head. Oh, wow. That feels so much better than the previous generation. It really does. It's still in the air, Bobby. It's still in the air. That's a 200-yard shot. Still spinning at 5-1. I was a little bit underwhelmed when I got these out of the box this morning, but now, have Ping done it? Have Ping finally done it? I don't know how they've made them feel that good, I really don't. The pitching wedge deceived me a little bit, but here, carbon copy 192, 200 total, 5-5 spin. Tell you what, this 4-iron's going to go miles, Bobby, isn't it? That's a miss hit. That's a miss hit, and I can't wait to see how far that's gone. It's gone further. It's gone further. 197 miss hit with a 6-iron. Spin's dropped, but it's going to do because I hit it badly. Are we just making the game difficult for ourselves? Is this just a 5-iron with a 6 on the bottom? Get in the comments below, what do you think? Let's test the 4, then let's get back out there and put these bad boys properly to the test out in the elements. Right, 4-iron, lots of offset. Not the best looking 4-iron I've ever seen, but how good did that sound? Does that sound relaying to you? Does it sound better than my voice does? 215 carry. So to put that into perspective, I did a video the other day testing the TaylorMade P790 UDI and Tacoma 101U 2-irons, and it was around that number. This is a 4-iron, by the way. 4-iron. I think there's more in the tank as well. Look at that. You just don't need a driver, do you? 215 carry, 226 total. Still spinning at 3.8, so the spin numbers are pretty good. And that was toey. Look, toey. Imagine getting this out the middle. That'd be interesting, because that's that kind of high right one that usually uses you a lot of distance. And it's still 220 yards with a 4-iron. Guys, let's get back out there and see just how good these really are. So what I quite like about those shots is even the shots that have missed to the right are still flag high, and then we have one on the green there. I knew I was biting off quite a lot, but I'm going to take that all day long. Numbers wise for these clubs, as you saw, these are absolute rockets and go a very long way. Let's test the long iron now, the 4-iron on the tee, and see if we can play nice versatile shots with the Ping i530 4-iron. So the key for me with a 4-iron is, yes, I obviously want forgiveness because everybody does with a 4-iron, but I also want to be able to play versatile shots, versatile ball flights, where I can draw it, fade it, play it low, play it high. So we'll test that now, just on the edge of this 18 fairway. The ball's slightly above my feet, so it's going to want to work right to left, but initially, just with a nice normal flight, look at that. That felt really good, and it was pretty much everything I wanted from that flight. It didn't go left on me, even with the ball above my feet. Turf interaction, hardly any there because I picked it nicely. Now if we go for a little low one, we're going to have more turf interaction here. We're going to hit down on it a little bit more. Let me get a similar distance out there. Oh, look at that. I don't think that's travelled as far in the air, but that's going to run forever down there. And you can see we've trapped that nicely into the turf. So we've hit both shots we want to hit so far. Now, if I would pick a shot, Bobby, what shot would you like me to hit with this 4-iron? High draw into Augusta. How's that? That's pretty perfect, isn't it? And I feel like those 3 shots really sum up what these Ping i530s are all about. Are they perfect? No, I think they still maybe sound a little bit firm, they feel a little bit hard, but if you're in the market for a set of forgiving irons, you're a big Ping fan, I would certainly go and try these in 2024. So when it comes to consistency as well, guys, I'm going to put this in before the ending because I didn't anticipate these to be so consistently down this fairway. We've got 1, 2, 3 balls in the fairway, and even the high draw that Bobby wanted has worked out pretty good. Ain't it, Bobby? Stay tuned this year, guys, and we'll put these head to head against some of the best hollow bodied forgiving irons of the year and see just how they stack up.